Hey, welcome to another adventure in old code. Today we're going to continue our look at DRVILPOP and continue to watch its awesomeness grow. So here we go. Last time we took a look at the war. Today we'll see what other disasters await us in the wonderful village of Dur. Okay. So where were we here? We made it all the way, we basically looked at this last time. The big war, which didn't really exist, but okay. So that, if you recall, this is in our game loop, and every year the DIS variable is randomly between 1 and 4,000. If it was a 1, then you go into this war, which you always die in, so that was fun. Now, this is bizarre. If it's greater than 1993 and less than 2000, so we have a span of 8 numbers here, so 8 out of the 4,000 times, so 1 in every 500 years, approximately, this is going to happen. What is it? We play B1. That's it. Just this. I think I can copy that, paste it in here, and play it. No, that didn't work. Come on. Immediate. Okay, so we did hear that lots, but I never knew what it did. So now we get to see what it does. Oh, when we were all the way. Okay, if that happens, then we do the crack subroutine. And the crack subroutine, X and Y are a random set of coordinates on the screen somewhere. And 3 times he did this lots in lots of his programs. So he's going to, again, I think, if you'll recall, this was in most recently the program entitled Skin, where he chooses a random number between 1 and 16, and then he uses the cardinal directions with the diagonal to define 8 directions. But he's chosen 16 so that he can go short distances or long distances. So we've seen the draw command before. Up, down, left, right, E, F, G, and H. If it's between 1 and 8, your random number, he's going to draw 40 pixels. If it's between 9 and 16, he's going to draw 65 pixels. So he's going to draw 3 lines colored. Color of his dot here, which is 6, so that is going to be a light brown, and yep, that's all he does. So he draws the cracks on the ground. Woohoo for that. Then we print major population drop, cause natural disasters. So this is the natural disaster. So we were right. Remember back in the first part of this episode, I surmised those cracks were earthquakes of some sort. But this is what actually happens. Your rate gets halved, your population is halved, your eval is reduced by 2, and your eval gets reduced by 2. We still haven't seen what those are for. I believe those will probably be used in your evaluation. Okay, then we're going to sleep for 2 seconds, wait, locate. Perfect. We're going to erase what we just printed. So we did see a bug earlier where these messages weren't quite getting erased properly, but that's, he did attempt to erase them, so that's nice. So that's what happens if it's between 1993 and 2000. I mean the number. Remember, this is a random number between 1 and 4,000. These aren't years. Okay. If it's between 1982 and 1992, then we're going to play this beautiful tone, which I can do this. Okay, a bit of a nicer tone, but still ominous. This is the minor population drop, and the cause is accidents and crime. And okay, so again, we choose a random coordinate on the screen. Of course, now we're going the entire width of the screen. Before, in crack, you notice we only went 620. That's 600. That left 20 pixels along the right side of the screen, and I guess that's because the crack may be going off to the right, but it could have been all the way to the left, and he could definitely have gone to the left, so I'm not sure what he was thinking. I'm going to guess he just made a mistake. This should have been 640, but we'll forgive him. Okay, so that is a random position. It's white, and then we're going to draw this stuff. Then we're going to start drawing this stuff in a gray. So let's see what this is. Let's open up a new file here, and we'll do this. Now X and Y, we haven't set those yet, so I'll say X equals 320, Y equals 240, right in the middle of the screen. We're going to go into screen 12, and we're going to see this in all its gloriousness. It is a tombstone. That draws the tombstone. So he goes down 3, right 1, up 4, down 4, right 1, up 4, down 4, right 1, up 3. He's drawing it like you would draw a W. Anyway, the 4's in the middle are the hump. Wait a second. This is the same thing. What? Okay, so he draws a white tombstone and immediately covers it up with a gray tombstone. I guess I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, anyway, that's the tombstones. Happens when minor accidents and crime occur. Here we go. Okay, so that's great. Get back down here. Okay, so we draw the white tombstone and immediately cover it up with the gray tombstone. Okay, now the drop is randomly between 1 and 100, and the rate is going to be decreased by 1/10 of what drop is. So rate is a single. I believe it's a single. Right? Where's rate? Yeah, rate is just used. It's not really... Oh, no, there it is. Wait a second, it is an integer. So because rate is an integer, it can only it will get rid of any decimal values that you throw at it. So if we randomly chose 1 here, if drop was 1, then drop is 1/10, but 1 divided by 10 is 0 in integer arithmetic, so rate doesn't get affected at all. Now, if it was 100, then your rate would be decreased by 10. And every year your rate actually increases. We saw up here. Okay, randomly between 1 and 2 every year, which the years go by very, very quickly. And I should snap on screen if I'm going to snap. I've got to learn how to do that. So at most, you're going to drop 10 for this minor disturbances but even 10 will be made up in a matter of even 10 years. You're probably exceeding that. That's why we weren't seeing a whole lot of stuff happen when these minor accidents and crime occurred. They're just not that big a deal. They don't hurt you as much. However, your population does drop by that much. And this is even less significant because your population is hundreds of thousands. So what's 100 people going away going to do? Your evaluation and annual evaluation are decreased by 1. Again, I don't think that's a big deal, but we haven't actually seen that being used anywhere. So, and then again, wait 2 seconds and erase your message. Wow, what kind of interesting. So if it's between 1 and 6 exclusively, so 2 through 5, we're only talking about 4 numbers. So every 1,000 years. So wait a second. We had a minor population drop basically 10 values. It's more like 8. Again, every 500 years. Which, I don't know, it seemed to happen a lot more than every 500 years. Did I do that right? Between 83 and 91 is 9. Because we're inclusive. So 9 out of every 4,000 on average. Yeah, that's just over every 400 years. It's not a big deal. It just seemed to happen lots. But I guess we were going 2,000 times, so we would have seen that about 5 times in the whole game. Okay, sure. Okay. If it's between 1 and 6, we're going to play this awesome thing. And I'm only assuming it's awesome. But I think it is. Okay, what is that? Randomly, a dot on the screen. Radius equals 0 to 5. C is randomly between 1 and 2. If C equals 1, so half the time your color is 0, and the other half the time it's 14, which is yellow. So 0 is black, so yellow or black. Then you're going to draw a circle. Of that radius, so the ever increasing radius from 0 to 5, but the color is randomly yellow or black, and this is like those little yellow bullseyes we saw. Some sort of a nuclear disaster is about to happen. And I see that reproduction drop. So let's just plug this into the immediate line just to sort of see that. Can I see that like this? No, I can't see that. Okay, let's open up a new one. We want to see it. Okay, we'll set X again at 320 and Y at 240. We'll go into screen 12. And we'll do this. Function not defined. We need to define our function. Done. Here we go. There you go. I didn't see any that big. Did I see something that big? Oh, I didn't randomize the timer. There we go. So it's gonna be different every time. But I mean, they're only a circle of 0 doesn't show up, so there's only 5 different possibilities. It's either red or yellow or black. So 2 to the 5 is 32. There's only 32 possibilities, but whatever. Okay, so oh, see, there's a little one. And that's when the latter circles are colored black. Okay. How am I doing for time here? Good, good, good. Okay, so this caused utter hilarity when I saw this message. So this is the reproduction drop from radioactive exposures. And so this circle appears on the screen. Rate Oh. Because your rate increases every year between 1 or 2. If you recall, that's what we had here. Rate equals rate plus a random number between 1 and 2. It's ever increasing, but once we hit this radioactive thing that happens, rate becomes a random number between 1 and 3. So your rate could have been 126. It now gets bumped all the way down to between 1 and 3. Okay, so utterly low, basically 0, with some extremely minor variance. I think he had the details so fine here, he didn't have to have it so fine. Because randomly between 1 and 3 is essentially 0, but okay. There's no difference between 3 and 2, really. It'll take 1 year to make up that difference. Okay, but your evaluation and your annual evaluation gets decreased by 3. I guess this is the worst thing. The people really hate you when there's radioactive exposure in your city, because of course they do. Okay, so that is it. Those are the disasters. Fantastic. So not too much. We've got maybe 8, 16, 17, maybe 21, just sort of round it out to 20 things out of 4,000 that are kind of bad. Okay, so every 200 years something bad is happening to you. Okay, now this is the growth. These are all the goods. So this is randomly between 1 and 1,000. If it's less than 3, this is where the immigrants are coming. Okay, and he really bumped this octave up. This is really, really high. I'm going to delete all that. So it's a very high A notes, and between somewhere in the box of 500 and 300 on the screen. For IMM equals 1 to 35, immigration. He actually used a for loop variable that made kind of actual sense. What brilliance! 35, random dots. And they're going to be contained in a 40 by 40 rectangle, or square, I guess, that's offset somewhere based on these random coordinates. And they're all going to be colored red, and that's what we saw. We saw little squares of red dots appear whenever immigrants came. Your population gets increased by 200. Okay, not a big deal. We wait 2 seconds, erase it, and then your evaluation increases. I guess that's a good thing, immigrants coming into your city. Of course it is. Okay, if good is greater than 997. What happened here? Okay, so this is the... I mean, it's all a random number. It doesn't matter, but with the same frequency as the arrival of immigrants, you get a population boom. And again, we're going to draw something randomly on the screen. We'll take a look at that. we're going to play this beautiful tune. Whew, that's high. I guess really high notes mean good things, and really low notes mean bad things. But your population boom, your rate gets doubled, so that's pretty awesome. And your evaluation increases by 3. Okay. Let us do this. Well, I don't know what else to do. I do want to save my spot, but I do want to see this being drawn as well. So what is the population boom? Okay, there's no randomization on this. There's the population boom. It's a little... And you know what? I talked to my brother the other day. He actually told me what this was. That's not a diamond. That's a plus sign. It stands for hospital, which is synonymous with a population boom, I guess. I guess when more people come to your city, you need more hospitals? Or babies are born in hospitals? Or I'm not sure why when your population increases, a hospital appears. Maybe one day he can let me in on the secret. But for now, it'll just remain a connection that is just makes sense for DRVILPOP. Okay, so that's a good thing that can happen. How are we doing? Hey, right on. Oh, that's it. That's the only good thing. 2 good things: immigrants, population boom. Now here are some events. Okay, so your good things were, well, you 98, 999, and 1000. So 6 out of 1000. So every 166 years, something good is happening to you. And on average, about every 200 years, something bad was happening. So on the whole, you should be more good than bad. So that's kind of a nice scenario. But what are these events? Oh my goodness. Oh, he used the sound command. Oh, guaranteed he did not write this. And I know he didn't write this because there's a % sign after the variable, and he wasn't thorough enough to use % signs. What the heck? Okay, so event is randomly between 1 and 250. If it's 1... What? Oh, wait. There's some beeps. This is bizarre. Okay. So only in the case if it's 1, then it's going to do all this. Now, the sound command, I think we went through it before. It's just a way of fine-tuning these sounds. The play command used musical note lengths, but the sound command was like every clock tick or something like that. You could set a frequency and set a duration, and the frequency just had this crazy range outside of human hearing. And the duration is the number of system clock ticks the sound lasts. So 18.2 clock ticks per second. And so you know, I'll bet if I looked in my QBasic book that I had, this would be in there. So a % sign after a variable just means that that variable is an integer. It's not going to have decimals. If you try and throw decimals in there, QBasic will ignore them and get rid of them and keep only the integer part. So you're going to go from 650 to 750, counting by 6. So 650, 656, 662. Your sound is going to... that variable is going to be your frequency, and the duration is just going to be that divided by 1000. So at the very beginning, your frequency is 650 hertz. Oh, wait a second. I think these are his sirens. That's brilliant. Okay, so your frequency is 650 hertz, and you're going to play it for 0.65 clock ticks. And if there's 18.2 in a second, I mean, we're talking about less than 1/20th of a second here. But then it's going to increase up to 750. And then when it gets to 750, so it's a little bit higher, and it's playing for a little bit longer, then it's going to go back down to 650, and then it's going to go up, and it's going to oscillate, and we're going to get something awesome. Okay, so that's what we heard. How else are you going to make those sounds in QBasic? All you needed was a PC speaker, and life was awesome. Okay. Come on. So, that's the siren. He doesn't give this event a name. He just... Your evaluation and annual evaluation go down. That's it. That's the event. The event is the siren, and bad stuff happened. This is a generic bad stuff, I guess. If it was 2, then he's got your a more traditional sound. That's awesome. So that brings it up. This just undoes the siren. Okay, the third kind of event. And see, we don't get beeps in DOSBox, which is unfortunate. But okay, this thing. What is this? First it's this. Man, you could make a soundtrack to this game. Okay. And then we wait a little bit, and we quickly follow it up with this. Well, it's supposed to beep in between, but we don't get beeps. So here's the first one. And then here's... So what's that all about? Okay. Then it beeps again, and your evaluation goes up. And your annual evaluation goes up. Whatever. These sounds are just arbitrary. Fantastic. That's it. Those are the events. And that's really poorly formatted. Although he had, I mean, it was indented. I can see his logic. It's just not the traditional way of indenting. Okay, so if the date is 2099 or 20, oh no. Okay, this is awesome. So at the end of each century, he wants to do this centennial evaluation. But he didn't know how to detect if it had a 99 at the end, and so he just shoved it all together. So if the date is 2099 or 2199 or 2299 or 2399 or 2499 or 2599, I need a beat in the background, or 2899 or 2999 or 3099 or 3199 or 3299 or 3399 or 3499 or 3599 or 3699 or 3799 or 3839.99. Then I need a beat in the background. I need a beat in the background. I need a beat in the background. I need a beat in the. I need a beat in the. I need a beat in the. I need a beat in the beat in the beat in the beat in the beat in the. I need a beat in the background. Background. Okay. Then what? It's centennial evaluation time. Okay, I'm gonna bring some of this down. Oh, my word. Hey. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's just... Oh, now I did it too much. Okay, it's okay. No. Okay, so if your annual evaluation is less than 1, then print the city was a disaster. Like, it was the most terrible century of all for the year, the city. With an exclamation mark. Once it's up to 3, it's a disaster without the exclamation mark. Excellent. The city was a failure. The city was a failure. The city did very bad. The city did quite bad. The city didn't do so well. The city did okay. And the city did fine. The city did quite fine. The city did well. The city did quite well. The city did quite... The city did quite good. So if you were 41, then your report was grammatically incorrect. Okay, the city did very good. The city was very prosperous. The city did excellent. The city did amazing. The city did incredible. The city was a stunning success. The city was an absolute utopia. Oh, wow. There's a much easier way he could have done this. Obviously, because of this if statement and these print statements, I think he was mentally exhausted at this time. But, okay. So what you could do to fix this top if statement, you want to know if it's 1 less than an exact multiple of 100. So what he could have done, and I did not expect him to have known this, but you could say if date plus 1 mod 100 equals 0, then. And what this is going to do is going to add 1 to the date, divide it by 100, and check the remainder to be 0. And if that's true, then basically the year ends in 99. So that could have replaced this whole if statement, if condition at the top. But that's okay, because I still consider myself the king of ridiculous if statements, conditionals. Like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like you'll notice 1 from 0 to 2. So he could have turned this into, if it was less than or equal to 2, then print this. And these didn't have to be there. And then he could have said, well, okay, else if it was less than or equal to 5. He could have put these in buckets rather than specifying each one. Like, look at this. The city is doing okay between 19 and 25. So he could have had less than or equal to 18 here, and then less than or equal to 25. And all of this stuff would have been, you could have just deleted it. We're not going to delete it, because that's not what we do here in Adventures in Old Code. Okay. Anyway, that was great. I even like that spelling error. Okay, print in the year, date, wait for 4 seconds, erase everything, set your annual evaluation to 25. Whoa, my mind just got blown. So every century, your annual, so I guess it's kind of a centennial evaluation. I've been calling it annual, but yeah, it's your centennial evaluation. That gets reset to 25. Now, if your population is greater than 100,000, your nuke, troops, and Navy power increase. Of course. So as you grow, at the end of every century, if you're sufficiently large enough, your defensive capabilities increase by 1. We do a little bit of a wait. and we loop until date is greater than or equal to finish. So this would have given you okay. And that's why, and I'm glad for this, that's why last time when we were investigating the war, all the way up here, and we thought it was strange, or I thought it was strange, that we set it to 0, when in fact we don't actually get the ability to defend ourselves until we reach at least 100,000. And now he still didn't share these variables with the other subroutines, which is why it didn't work, and why after I shared it, I was always making the war to happen the first year when it was 0. So that's also why we would keep losing. So, okay, that's awesome. Wait a second, what's happening here? Oh. Okay, so once you get past your finished year, you get another beep, and then you print all the evaluations, except this time it's not a centennial evaluation. This is your overall evaluation. And again, this follows the exact same format and style as the centennial evaluation. The city was an absolute utopia. All right, awesome. Well, we did it. What if I just hit enter? The population of Joylandville is 1,000 in the year 1999. The city did well because I did it for less than 1 year. That's my starting point. I guess if you hit enter, you don't get the 1,500. Oh, that was just nothing. Why did I? Oh, 1,500. Oh, no. It starts in 1999. Oh, my word. I want to be done. 20 to 500. I just like that tune. I want to be Duneville. Yeah, awesome. What's going on? Okay, well, that's it. I think we did everything except for figuring out why that messages didn't erase each other. They didn't get erased, and I think that's just what happens when after an evaluation happens, we print in the year, but then we also print, what are we doing here? No, we're just printing. The city did quite well. And we're erasing everything. And you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't know why it didn't erase. It was a bug. But we didn't see it very often, just that one time. So I don't know. It has something to do with the... Can some of these happen at the same time? Greater than 93? 1998, 1992, 1 and 6. No, they're all distinct. They do not intersect. Okay, I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. That was fun. That was DRVILPOP. And one of the greatest programs to ever come out of my brother's brain. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I certainly did. Thanks for joining me in this adventure in Old Code. Have a nice day, and we will see you next time.